What's up, people? I'm Shaggy, the Opinionated Hippie, and this is my personal favorite top 10 2023 reissues. Yeah, that's it. It's albums that were reissued or box sets or archival releases or things that were not releases of new material. What is the connection to Frank Zappa? Well, he's on this list. There we go. Yeah, that's about it. I'm just going to talk through each one of them, and then I'll put the list up at the end of the thing if you want to look at them. And then if you have a favorite reissue or something that came out that was a box set or re-release this year that's not on my list and you think it's good, let me know and I will check it out. I'm always looking for new music. But anyways, yeah, on number 10. Number 10 is the Driveby Truckers, The Complete Dirty South. They re-released their 2004 album, The Dirty South, which is a stupidly perfect Southern rock album. If you have not checked out The Dirty South, the original, it is a near perfect album as is. I would probably prefer the original maybe over this, but this one includes songs that either came out on later albums, that came out maybe on a compilation like a odds and sods type things of unreleased material. There's a couple songs that are reworked that I'm not exactly, I might prefer the originals, but I really like the fact that they've included some of the songs that were sort of, you felt like they belonged, but they were on other albums. It just makes it for a longer listen. Anytime we have a reason to like expose new people to this album, that's a good thing. So while there's not a lot of really good new material on here, I had to put it on the list because I'm happy that it's still out there. Maybe more people will get a chance. It came out 20 years ago at this point. But yeah, the things that are new, it's pretty much the exact same album. There's sort of a re-vocal mix, like the vocals have been redone and putting people on the moon. Don't think they needed to be. They redid the vocals on, I think, the Sands of Iwo Jima, right? If I'm not mistaken. Don't think they need to be redone. But what you get is you get a really upbeat, weird kind of Southern poppy version of Goodsfield Road, which is awesome. Doesn't replace the other version on a later album on Brighter Than Creation's Dark, but it's still a really phenomenal song. We get TVA is included on here, which just fits perfectly and absolutely amazing. The guitar player's name, it's been a long day, Jason Isbell song, and fantastic Jason Isbell song. And then we get The Great Car Dealer War, which would be released on sort of like a compilation unreleased type album, which is really good. So really, you don't get a lot of new stuff, but the couple new things you have flesh out the album even more. And I think for TVA alone, it's probably worth it to have it where it should be. But yeah, no, it's a great album. I really enjoy it. Either this one or the original Dirty South. More people need to check out Dirty South. But that's my number 10. On to number 9. Number 9 is the remaster and re-release of Alice Cooper's School's Out, a 2-disc set. The first disc is a remastered version of School's Out. The second disc contains, I don't know, a set, I'm assuming it's just a set, of live music from 1972, Alice Cooper in Miami. And it is that set that is the reason this is on the list. 10 songs. They sound fantastic. Be My Lover, You Drive Me Nervous, Yeah, Yeah, Yeah. I'm 18, Halo of Flies, Dead Babies, Killer, Long Way to Go, School's Out, Is in My Body. Plus to fill out the disc, it's about an hour set. Plus there's like single versions and alt versions of School's Out track to fill out the second CD. Second CD is fantastic. The album itself is fantastic, but it's number 9 on this list because of that live portion. They also re-released Killer on a 2-disc set, in which they remastered the album, and then there was a live set on there. I like this live set a little bit more, but I think both of them could be here. They're both fantastic. If you don't have these albums, I think this is the version to get, especially because that live material is so fantastic, of either School's Out or Killer. That's why it's in parentheses down there. I now decided to add that. But that's my number 9. Alice Cooper's re-releases. Number 8 is Bob Dylan's bootleg series, number 17, Fragments. This is from the Time Out of Mind sessions. We get a remix of the album on disc 1, just straight up Time Out of Mind. Disc 2, 3, Disc 2 is all outtakes and alternates. Disc 3 is also outtakes and alternates. Disc 4, I think, is all live stuff from the material. And disc 5, and I absolutely kind of like this, is all the versions of this stuff that have been previously released on other releases. I think a lot of them, if not all of them, most of them, all come from the bootleg series. I think it was number 8, Telltale Signs, which had a bunch of live material from this era. And so a lot of those versions are on this bonus disc 5. So even though they've already been released, you have all the stuff from just this album like represented on one disc, which is kind of cool, because then you get like all 3 versions of Mississippi on one disc, back to back to back, which is really cool. And, you know, the live Cold Irons Bound that was on there, which I think is a Bonnaroo show. You know, it's at that Bonnaroo show. But yeah, just, I mean, it's a fantastic album. The outtakes and alternates are fun to listen to. Again, it's Dylan at one of his peaks, one of Dylan's peaks, one of the many times he returned to the top of the mountain. This is one of those albums. And the bootleg series here just continues on the tradition of being an absolutely awesome release. So that's my number 8, Bob Dylan's Fragments, the Time Out of Mind sessions. Number 7 is the Ducks, High Flying. So apparently Neil Young decided he just wanted to be in a band and be a guy in a band. And so in 77, he joined with 3 other Bay Area musicians and played a bunch of shows in Santa Cruz. Word eventually got out, and then sort of the gig was over. But Neil Young being Neil Young, apparently I think he was the one that recorded a bunch of those shows. And so this is a compilation of a lot of the material. It's a bar band playing incredible songs. Very, like, Neil sings a handful of his songs. Each of the band members get a turn to pick a handful of songs. It feels very much just like a band jamming. It's like kind of bar rock, Neil Young type country rock, just kind of Bay Area. Like if I saw this band in a bar, I would go back every Saturday and see this band in a bar again. It's a revelation. It's a fantastic listen. As far as like the key Neil Young songs, we get an Are You Ready for the Country? We get what else do we get? We get a Sail Away, which is pretty interesting. We get a Human Highway. We get a Mr. Soul. It's some really good stuff thrown throughout here. It's an absolutely fantastic listen. We get a Little Wing. Not the Hendrix song. But it's a great set. The non-Neil Young stuff is fantastic. The energy is fantastic. The playing is fantastic. I think we have a bass guitar. I think it's bass guitar, drummer, and then Neil's also on guitar and vocals. Bob Mosley, Jeff Blackburn, Johnny Cravioto. It's fantastic, fantastic listen. Just fun, good energy, kind of a revelation. Yeah, it's awesome. The Ducks, High Flying, my number 7. Number 6 is Prince's Diamonds and Pearls re-release. It's just like an awesome Prince mixtape, all from this sort of electronic dance, weird NPG funk thing that he has going. The first disc is the album, and then you get a bunch of like remaster takes, and you get singles, and you get outtakes, and you get things that were never released, and you get a fantastic live show from Minneapolis that sort of kicked off the tour for this. There are highlights all over the place. Even at its worst, it's just that, Prince funk from this era. You got slow burning ballads, you got hyperactive funky things, you got some guitar playing on here. If you ever doubted Prince's guitar skills, there is a song on disc, 5? Man, it's deep in there. Where is that song? But there is a song on here that is just some of the nastiest guitar playing you ever heard. Dark Side, right? Dark Side. And he is just going off on guitar, but it's an interesting track because he's already played the guitar solo, and the drummer is now recording his part, and Prince is like, all right, Yeah, we're coming around again. Do that fill again. And so he's telling the drummer what to do in real time as they're listening to the track of the bass and the guitar player play. It's an absolutely amazing listen. And he is just Hendrix shredding it on guitar. A lot of just really fun songs. Lori Ann, such a great, that could have been a hit. Schoolyard is fun, though it's a little risque. But then we get on the last two discs, so it's a 7-disc set. The last two discs we get the Live at Glam Slam 92, which is just him running through a whole bunch of songs from this album. He does Sinead O'Connor's that he gave to Sinead O'Connor, his song, Nothing Compares to You on there. I think it might be the same one that was released on the Hits 1 or Hits 2 or that compilation back then. We get an awesome medley of that starts off with Cream and goes into things. Awesome medley of 1999 into Baby I'm a Star into Push. Awesome jammed out Get Off. Yeah. I mean, if you like Prince, if you like Diamond and Pearls, Diamonds and Pearls, if you're a boy, this is a fantastic, funky release. That's my number 6. Prince's Diamonds and Pearls release. Whatever, yeah. Super deluxe edition. Number 5 is Joni Mitchell's Archives Volume 3, The Asylum Years, 1972 to 75. This is what she's doing, and I absolutely applaud this, is whoever is running Joni Mitchell's estate or whether she's doing it, they're re-releasing the albums kind of like David Bowie did in sets, like the first 4, the next 4. Then there's that, which are just like, I think they're remastered, remixed, but they're like, really awesome versions of those albums. Then a companion archives release that features like the same era, but doesn't just duplicate the album. So almost everything you get are like alternate cuts or deep takes or live cuts or just, yeah, it is a fantastic listen. It is also just like this mixtape of just going all over the place in Joni's career. This is the era. What is this era covering? For the Roses, Hissing of Summer Lawns, everything that kind of took place between there. We get a live show from Carnegie Hall that has a bunch of early cuts, a bunch of blue cuts on there. I think there's another live, there's a couple more live performances. Yeah, there's a live at the Dorothy Chandler Pavilion that's dropped later on. Like, there is so much good stuff on this. Oh, the live, yeah, this is just absolutely amazing. It really is. It's just there is so much fantastic stuff on this release. 5 discs, bunch of live stuff. Everything sounds fantastic. It's fun. There's a couple versions of songs she's doing with Neil Young, and I think it's the Stray Gators band that Neil Young's playing with at the time, including a version of something funky, Raised on Robbery. Yeah, it's doing with Neil Young and the Santa Monica Flyers. There's a version of Raised on Robbery that's pretty interesting. Yeah, there's just a lot of really, really good stuff on here. Joni sounds great. The songs are great. If you're a Joni fan, like, this is almost a must-have. But yeah, that's my number 5. Archives, Volume 3, Joni Mitchell. Number 4 is Sonic Youth live in Brooklyn, 2011. This was their final show in the United States. They played a handful of shows after this in Europe, but I think those were all festival shows. So this was their last, like, real in Brooklyn. I don't think it was a club, but a Brooklyn show. It was like the end of summer, so it was super hot and all that stuff. But anyways, great show. Some deep cuts on here, things they hadn't played in decades, or at least didn't pop up regularly. Good set list, good energy. It's definitely not the most noisiest, loudest, most chaotic Sonic Youth show you will ever hear, but it's a pretty solid, fantastic listen. And it's definitely worth owning if you're a Sonic Youth fan, as it is their last United States show. Number 4, live in Brooklyn, 2011. Number 3, John Coltrane, Eric Dolphy, live at the Village Gate, 1961. Previously unreleased, now released. What more could you ask for? McCoy Tyner, Elvin Jones, Art Davis, Reggie Workman. Elvin Jones, as fantastic as everybody is, Elvin Jones might be the winner on this. His drumming is just, it's otherworldly, next level. It's just absolutely magical and fantastic. But the entire, 5 songs, we get My Favorite Things, which, Yeah, it's another great My Favorite Things. We get a When Lights Are Low, Impressions, Green Sleeves, and then a 20+ minute Africa to close things out. Yeah, what? It's Coltrane, it's Dolphy, it's 1961. Yeah, Greenwich Village with like Tyner and Jones. I mean, what more could you ask for? Workman, also. Davis. It's fantastic. Like it's jazz at its best. Yeah, go listen to this and love it. Why wouldn't you? That's my number 3. Number 2, the re-release of Frank Zappa's Overnight Sensation with a bunch of extra outtakes and stuff, and some of the best live music the Frank Zappa or the Zappa Family Trust or anybody has ever released. 73 shows. Yeah, I have many videos elsewhere on this channel talking about this album in depth. It is a fantastic listen. Yeah, Overnight Sensation is an incredibly fun album, but the live material on here, and I think I said that disc 3 of this might be, it's a 4-disc set, might be this one of the best single discs that the Zappa Family Trust has ever released. I'm not sure I've really changed my tune since I said that about a month and a half ago. This is a fantastic release, but it's not number 1. And it's not the reason I made this video, because I made this entire video simply to talk about this next album, my number 1. Let's get to it now. But number 2, fantastic. Number 1 is The Replacements' Tim. I really only made this video in hopes that people who maybe don't know that this exists, that this has been remastered or remixed or whatever it's been done to, it's not a completely different album, but man, does it sound like a completely different album. It's already one of the great 3, let's argue 4 Replacements albums. Some would argue their best. Some would say it can't be their best because the production on the original is so thin and so flat, and it's almost as if the production is challenging the songs to be like, you think you're a good collection of songs? You think this is the best Westerberg and Company can do? Well, we're going to make the production so horrible that there's no way you can be the best. And the production is so horrible, and yet the album was still somehow fantastic. Well, now it's the most beautiful thing I've ever heard in my life. It's got depth, it's got bass, it's got warmth, you can hear, like there's so much more going on than I ever suspected, because now I actually want to put this on my headphones, play it through my headphones and like absorb it and not be annoyed by the sound. I want to like bathe in it. I want to shower in it. I want to make a tuxedo out of it and wear this album the rest of my life. I'm glad I waited. I have a connection to Zappa with the Replacements. It's not a very good one, but I have one. And I'm glad I waited, because I'm thinking of changing my list with the release of this album. That is how good this new version of Tim is. Hold My Life just sounds heavier. All By has more impact. Kiss Me on the Bus, the lightheartedness just works a little better. Dose of Thunder feels a little more thunderous. Waitress in the Sky, still a horrible song. Great catchy lyrics, great catchy melody, fun. Lyrics are horrible. Sounds better. Swingin' Party, swings better. Bastards of Young, Lay It Down Clown. The only song I don't think sounds that much different is what I think is the best song on the album and might be their best song all. Left of the Dial, it still just sounds fantastic. Little Mascara sounds good. And Here Comes a Regular, just, I don't know. It's even more unsettling and disturbing and haunting and yeah, do I want to be a regular? No, but the music sounds so good. I want to own this as my sort of theme song, but it's so depressing. It's a fantastic, fantastic, fantastic album that now the sound is now worthy of the music contained on the vinyl or on the CD or on your digital download or wherever it is you get this. But yeah, Tim, The Replacements, by far the best, the re-released, by far the best re-release of 2023. It completely saved an album from just a death it didn't deserve. That horrible sound of that original, man. This is I will say this. I have listened to Tim who knows how many times, right? When this dropped originally, and I didn't get it immediately because whatever. And I read the reviews and everybody was like, this is a revelation. This is like, oh my gosh, you have to get this. And I was like, but can it really? I mean, I've heard and then I got it and I listened to it and oh my gosh, I wanted to cry. Like, it's just, if you have an album from the past that you think doesn't sound good, but you know the songs are good and you wish somebody would salvage it, get whoever did this in charge, because Tim, it's a whole new beast, man. Fantastic, fantastic. That's my number one, easily, by far, the reason I did this video. And that's it. Those are my top 10 favorite re-releases of 2023. Yeah, briefly just ran through those. Probably make a good 20-minute video on each of those albums just for some of those deep cuts and some of those live tracks and some of the gloriness that is going on there. The gloriness that is going on there. It's not a thing. But anyways, yeah, I love all those releases. They're all fun. They're eclectic. They're really, a lot of them provide you some really good deep dives into an artist. And Tim, oh my gosh, people. If you don't know the Replacements, now you have a reason to get Tim. This could turn you on to the Replacements. Yeah, fantastic. All right, that's all I got. Thanks for watching. Let me know any of your favorite re-releases of this past year or archival stuff or stuff that's been remastered. I will check it out. Always looking for new music. I appreciate any leads that direction. Thanks for watching, all y'all. Peace. Stay warm. It's cold here in Texas. And talk to you later. Subscribe, like, share, comment, all that stuff. Go listen to Tim, people. Tim's the man.